So there's one more cool feature that we can add to this application. If somebody deletes some items, there's no way to refresh the app so that it gets all the information back. So what I want to do is add the pull to refresh functionality that's super popular in a lot of browsers. Here's the finished application. Notice that all I have to do to get the data back is just click and drag down. You see that icon appear with the arrow. And when you let it go, it does a little bit of a reload and all the information reappears again. So this will reset any of our stars and anything that we do in the application. Let's go ahead and move it back. And if I pull to refresh, it'll clear everything out and give me the data back. That is surprisingly easy to do with Ionic, and it's not actually part of lists. That's actually part of a section in the JavaScript manual called Ion Content. And you can see that it has a lot of different options on how to apply this. We'll do a simple version of this in our application. So to start, I'm going to go to my index.html document, and I'm going to add an Ion refresher directive right underneath Ion Content. So all I have to do is do an Ion refresher and then do an on refresh directive here, and then tell it to execute a function that we'll program in a minute. So this will say do refresh. And then I need to close this tag out. Let's go ahead and save this. And now if we click and drag, you can see the functionality happening on the right, but we haven't written out this do refresh function. Let's go ahead and just refresh the page so that we don't see that running. And I'm going to go into app.js. And of course, I'll need to program this in here somewhere. So I'll do scope, do refresh, and that's going to be a function. We don't really need to pass anything to this function. And what we'll do is just go get the data back from the source. So I'm going to copy it from up here and paste it right there. Indent it a little bit better. And then I will put that data back into the scope in the variable that we used in the same place up here, that scope artists. Set the data back. And once that data gets reset, I will do a scope and use the Ionic special method called broadcast and just tell it that the scroll refresh is complete. Put a semicolon right here. And let's go ahead and save that. Looks like I have a little bit of a error right there. Looks like I need to close this out. Let's go ahead and save that. And let's go ahead and delete a couple of these artists here. And then let's pull to refresh and we get all of our data back. It's really that simple. Now there's a lot of other options that you can check out in the documentation. So you should take a look at things like gestures and events, which allow you to control what happens when you do different gestures on your application. So take a look at the documentation for more options, but I think you get the gist of how this works and makes building applications with Ionic super easy.